Now, nobody likes getting older. None of us want to thoroughly think about the aging process. It's not a very nice thing to think about. But unfortunately, it's the fact of life that we get older. And it's never really too young to start planning, because there are 5 simple truths of aging which will probably affect a lot of people watching this video. Now, first one is all to do with our health. There's probably a 1 in 3 chance that most of us will be affected by dementia. 1 in 3 chance that dementia or something else like a stroke is going to affect us. Now, obviously this causes a lot of problem when you start losing mental faculties. It's not straightforward for family members just to walk into the bank and start managing financial affairs. Often you have to apply to the Court of Protection, and there can be big legal fees, but more than that, lots and lots of hassle, a long drawn out process which can be very, very intrusive. Now, the best way of managing this is a lasting power of attorney. A lasting power of attorney can be basically drawn up by us, which enables the family member to act on behalf, or even a friend, act on behalf of the person who's lost the mental capacity. Now, you can draw lasting power of attorney up well before that potential chance of mental capacity diminishing takes place. The nominated trusted friend or relative can then look after your financial affairs if you do lose that mental capacity. So you don't have to get a lasting power of attorney and immediately hand over all of the management of your financial affairs. It can only be enacted when you start losing your mental capacity. So that's the first thing, that's the first truth. Now, the second truth is that many couples have one person who is generally in charge of all their financial affairs, but this doesn't necessarily help you, because what happens is this: one person deals with all the money, and unfortunately they die, and then what happens is the other person then doesn't know anything about the financial affairs at all, doesn't know how to pay the bills, doesn't know how to access the money in the bank account, doesn't know where the insurance policies are or the mortgage policies are or anything at all. It can be a real problem if one person manages the family affairs. As a minimum, the person who manages the affairs should document everything in a financial fact sheet, so that anything does happen, that at least the surviving person knows where everything is and how to access accounts and stuff like that. So if you are the person running the financial affairs, or you're not the person running financial affairs, please get together a financial fact sheet, and something we can probably help you with. Now, thirdly, debts don't die with you. Many people are under the misinformation that debts will die with you. Now, if you die penniless and in debt, and no one left behind will have to assume any responsibility for those debts unless they were joint. But if you have got assets, then your estate is expected to settle those debts, and your beneficiaries can be liable if the assets are distributed without paying the debts off. Now, we could just draw a simple picture here. Imagine you have a £200,000 house, but you owe £50,000 on credit cards. Now, the estate could be pursued for the debt, and the family may be sold to pay for it. So the law is very complex in this area, so you do need to think about these things and get in touch with your solicitor. Just don't think that debts will disappear, and don't overborrow just before you pop your clogs thinking that all the debts will be discharged. That's not the case. Now, the next point is downsizing. Now, it was probably a good idea to downsize sooner rather than later. If you've got lots of equity tied up in your big house and you want to access this equity, it's probably best to do it before it gets too late, before you get too old that you just don't fancy it anymore. You can't suffer the upheaval of downsizing. The longer you put it off, the more difficult it is actually to leave the emotional bonds of your family home. People do often get too old to deal with a move and a change. Now, some people decide to take out equity loans instead, equity release products, but this isn't always the best way. It can be very, very expensive. Now, just imagine that the actual debt itself doubles in every 10 years roughly that it's taken out. Interest rates are high, and you want to make sure that if you are taking equity release, leave that as long as possible. Much easier to actually downsize. Now, the next point is this. It actually pays to know when you're going to die. Yes, it's a very strange one. We all think that we just want to pop our clogs in our sleep. But actually, if you are taking out things like annuities, then it's good to know if you are actually ill. Now, this is a bit bizarre, but if you have diabetes or if you're a smoker, you can often get an enhanced annuity. But many people do miss out because they have undiagnosed conditions. So it's always worth going for a health check first before you take out an annuity, just in case. I know it's a bit shocking to say that, but it's best to find out if you are unwell, because actually you could get an enhanced annuity. Also, the Chancellor has changed the way things work with pensions. So just remember that you can actually take out 25% of your pension savings as a tax-free lump sum from 2015. So check with your financial advisor or your solicitor. Just remember, financial freedom does bring some responsibilities, so you want to make sure you're doing the right thing. Now, if you need help in any of these particular areas, for example, lasting power of attorney, or probate, or wills, because you should definitely have a will sorted, or even conveyancing if you are looking to downsize and buy a new property and sell your property, then please come to Clutton Cox. Call us today for any help on if you're facing any of the 5 truths of aging. Our phone number is there on the screen, or you can email us at info@cluttoncox.co.uk. Go to the website for any of our free guides and our free books, and we'd be delighted to spend a few minutes with you on the phone chatting through the potential pitfalls of the 5 truths of aging. Thanks very much for watching. We look forward to speaking to you soon on the phone and helping you.